Hey, it's Taryn. It's time for Sunday Reads. So today has been a very long day. It's like 7:30 or something right now, and I'm finally getting around to this. I went for a hike out along the Palmetto Trail, which is a trail that goes across the entire state of South Carolina, and we went on a trail maybe it was like half an hour from here, and we walked for a couple of hours, and it was gorgeous. The weather was amazing, and allergies here are serious business. Like the pollen is really bad. So I've just been exhausted all day, but I did have a really good time doing that. So now I'm just sort of relaxing at home. But anyways, last week I finished three things. I finished my audiobook, The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden, and it was great. At first, the narrator, Kathleen Gati, I think it is, I had a really hard time with her voice. There was just something like it was too proper, too well enunciated at the beginning, but it grew on me as time went on, and by the end I really enjoyed her narrating quite a bit. The story itself was really slow to pick up for me, but by the end I was in love with it. I thought it was a really great story. It's kind of like a coming of age story set in a world, in Russia, where the fairy tales are real. The demons and gods and things of nature are real, and the main character can sort of see and communicate with them. And it's about, her struggle to try and, save that way of life, as well as her community and her role in that, specifically against the church, the Christian church. And it was really good. It was really good. Yeah, you should read it. I also finished Slow River by Nicola Griffith. And something funny, I guess I didn't look it up, but everybody was talking about Nicola Griffith's Ammonite, maybe last year or the year before. It just was going crazy around, and I thought it was a new book. So when Rachel from Colonnati talked about Slow River, I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. That must be her new book. And then I saw the cover, and I was like, that looks really 90s. Like, maybe this was her older book, but it says here that, Ammonite had already been I guess it had already been written at this time. So I was really confused, because I was like, okay, well, I guess maybe it is new, but it looks so 90s. And I was reading, I was like, this reads so 90s. I'm so confused. And of course, there's nothing I can pinpoint. Just the style, and it's not a cyberpunk feel remotely, but there's that feeling that cyberpunk has, the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. It's just an atmosphere, and I feel like this book had it, even though it's not cyberpunk at all. But anyways, after I finished it, I finally looked at the copyright date, and it was 1995, and I was like, I'm so confused. I still don't know when Ammonite was published, but for some reason I thought Ammonite was like a new book, recently published. And it's interesting how BookTube will go through these trends and get this, one person will read the book, and then people hear about it and read it, and then it just blows up and goes crazy. So I just thought that was interesting. Anyways, on to this book. It's about a young lady who, it's about an heiress, a very rich, from a rich bioengineering family, who gets kidnapped, and as a result of the kidnapping, she ends up starting a sort of a new life, dealing with the underbelly of society, and basically how she sort of finds her way through comes into her own, basically. And there's the main character is I don't know if she's actually a lesbian. It doesn't say that she's not attracted to men, but all of her partners in the book are women, so that was really interesting, especially for 95, I guess. But I think it's sort of a meandering path. There's a lot of time jumping, and it's following a few different points of time in her life. I think about 3 points of time in her life, and it kind of jumps back and forth between those, but it wasn't difficult to follow at all, and it was a little bit disturbing. There's a lot of sex in the book, and it's a lot of casual sex, and I think Rachel mentioned that too. It wasn't quite her thing. It doesn't bother me, but I didn't see a purpose for a lot of it, and it sort of fit into that trope that if you're lesbian, you'll just sleep with anybody thing going on. Pretty much every woman she meets in this book who isn't already attached, she wants to sleep with. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know how to feel about it. It's just interesting. So if any of you have read Slow River, I'd love to hear what you thought about it. I also finished Madame Pamplemousse and her Incredible Edibles. I don't know if that's how you say her name, but it's by Rupert Kingfisher, and I don't even know what age this is for. I mean, look at the size of the writing. Maybe late elementary. I have no idea. It's got all of these cute little drawings like scattered throughout, and I really enjoyed it. It's about a young lady, Madeline, who is forced to live with her uncle on vacations, and he basically forces her to work for him, but she's a good cook, but he feels threatened by her, so he relegates her to the kitchen doing dishes and things like that, and basically he pimps her out to Madame Pamplemousse in payment for something, but it's about her coming into her own. And it was really cute and sweet. In fact, I think I read it yesterday morning over breakfast, so it was nice and fast. I really liked it, and I would not mind reading something else by Rupert Kingfisher. I'd never heard of him before, but it was really good. So I think that's all I read last week. I have no idea, really. I'm still working on To Like the Lightning by Ada Palmer. I'm only at like 75%. I'm very slowly working my way through it. And I started The Whispering Skull by Jonathan Stroud, which is being narrated by a different person this time than last time, and I really like the new narrator. The last narrator was good, but she was a little breathy, and I didn't feel like she fit the character very well, so I like this new narrator a lot, and I'm about halfway through that. I only have 2 more days before it expires, so I've been listening to it pretty much constantly, so there's that. Next week I'm going to finish To Like the Lightning, that's my goal, and The Whispering Skull, and I don't have an audiobook lined up after that, but I would like to read, I got The Monstrous Volume 1 graphic novel. I got that in from a hold from the library, and I don't know what else I'm going to read. We'll figure it out. My life news, I put in an offer on a house, and the offer was accepted, so I'm starting the process of getting my loan approved, and it's terrifying and exciting, and I'm really not ready. I wasn't planning on doing this for 2 years, but it's right next door to my closest friend here, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity to try it out. So I've been really stressed with tax season and getting all the documents together for the house thing and trying to get my Japanese pension stuff done. So I'm feeling really stressed about that as well. And I also randomly, I just got hired for a part-time job working on Saturdays at a storage place, and it seems like it's going to be pretty relaxed, which is good. I just wanted a way to, help offset the cost of the new house, and if I don't get the house, it'll help me, pay down some bills faster, so I'm excited about that. But that's what's going on in my life. I'm basically very stressed, and I'm not going to have a lot of time starting tomorrow, next week. So I'm going to do my best to try and keep making videos, but if I miss sometimes, that's why. I expect the next month and a half to be incredibly busy between trying to get get my loan approved and close on the house, as well as working that new job and go do my classes and stuff. So anyways, that's my life. I hope yours is slightly less hectic, but full of as much awesome as mine is right now. Let me know how you're doing, what you're reading, if anything exciting is going on, and now I'm going to go probably take a nap or something. Anyways, until next time.